Introducing a whole new form of racing to the best online racing simulation in the world. This is Dirt Racing on iRacing.com. Race online at some of America's most legendary dirt tracks, including Eldora and Williams Grove. iRacing is the premier online racing game featuring NASCAR, IndyCar, sports cars, and now World of Outlaws, the leading sanctioning body for dirt racing. iRacing is easy to use and features a centralized ranking system to make sure you have the best experience at any skill level. With a massive inventory of high-precision laser scan tracks and cars with an unmatched dedication to quality and detail, iRacing gives you the most authentic online racing experience available. Thanks to iRacing's dynamic track system developed specifically for dirt racing, tracks change over the course of a race, just like your favorite dirt track on a Friday or Saturday night. From a slick racing groove all the way up to the cushion, iRacing's dirt tracks deliver non-stop racing action. Partnered with the World of Outlaws, iRacing is your source for the most authentic dirt racing experience available, featuring 4 brand new tracks and 11 new cars, including street stocks, Legends cars, late models, NASCAR trucks, winged and non-winged sprint cars, with much more on the way. Join the Dirt Revolution on iRacing.com and start slinging mud today.
Hi guys, I'm Scott Speed, driver of this amazing Volkswagen Beetle GRC car. I got good news for the iRacing fam. We got this coming in. I'm currently working on it myself personally to make sure that it is as accurate as possible. With the addition of dirt and now this mean car, it is gonna be so fun. And it's gonna be available free to all the iRacing members. Personally, I can't wait to get out there and race you guys on it.
When I sat in the car, you always wonder, what's it gonna feel like? It was my first time driving a mid-engine GT car. My thoughts were, wow, this is really good for our first time in a car. I was really surprised by it. You're sitting low, you got the A-pillars at steep angles, the windshields at steep angles, you can see the fender flares. I think we have a chance to win. Everything's got to go right, but I think we have a car that can win the race or be on the podium. But can you imagine how cool that would be to go back 50 years later to the year and do it?
Welcome one and all to V8's Online's live broadcast of the New Zealand and Australian, iRacing Formula Renault 2.0 Championship Round 3 from Suzuka. Hopefully that's the only mistake I make tonight. Get it out of the way right at the beginning. My name is Reese Gardner. Joining me in the commentary box is Cameron Dance. Hello, Cam. We're going racing at Suzuka tonight in the Formula Renaults.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you, Reese. Yeah, it's going to be another, hopefully, a good night of racing after the show that these boys put on last week at Imola. So, yeah, good track and hopefully some more good racing.
Yeah, certainly. So, it's scheduled to be a 25-lap race, but the way it seems to have worked out is we're not too sure if we'll actually go full distance tonight, seeing as a lap at Suzuka is about 2 minutes long in the Formula Renaults, and it's 45 minutes time certain, so we might see a slightly shorter overall race length than we've usually seen in this series, but still, it's Suzuka. It's a very historic single-seater racing circuit. It's got some lovely flowing corners. It's got some very downforce-dependent turns, and it's one of those tracks that you need to have your car set up perfectly for. Otherwise, you're basically out in the weeds, or out in the tarmac runoff, as it were.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a very setup demanding track, Suzuka, with the mix of high speed and mid speed corners as well as low speed as well. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how well these guys can get their cars suited to the conditions and also work their way around the track quick enough.
Of course, Suzuka got some incredibly legendary turns. Basically, every turn at this circuit is famous in one way or another in the motorsport world. Of course, you've got that magnificent turn 1 and 2 complex. Then you've got the S's. Then you've got, of course, the Degner turns, right-hand kink followed by a heavy braking right-hand right-angle corner, the hairpin, spoon, the long straight, and then 130R, super challenging, flat-out left-hander, and then the Casio triangle to finish off the lap. So, yeah, in these low-level single-seaters, of course, you're going around this track at a far slower pace than you usually would in, say, a Formula 1 car or even the GT cars that usually see action around this circuit, but nevertheless, still very wide, still very smooth. It'll lend itself well to some really good racing tonight.
Yeah, definitely it will do. And the other thing that these guys will have to keep an eye on, a bit of a mindset on with this track is that some of these corners are very committed, so trying to make an overtake in some of these corners is probably going to be a bit of a challenge, especially the likes of 130R. So yeah, they should hopefully keep it pretty clean, and we should see some very good racing.
Certainly should. At the moment, we're in practice with about 12 minutes left to go in the session. Riley Blythe for Evolution Racing Team is currently on the top of the timesheets on a 1 minute 57.044. Only a couple of tenths behind, though, is Scott Newton, who has really shown fantastic pace in the championship so far, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do. Series admin, Jordan McDonnell, 1 minute 57.4 at the moment, and from what I hear, since, unfortunately, Precision iRacing Team has ended as an entity, he's with a new team now.
Yeah, he is actually, after a recent signing with Performance Motorsports, as well as Fulton Penny going along with him to Performance Motorsports. So yes, it's definitely a good signing for him, and hopefully he does well, and all the best for the future.
Yeah, certainly. He'll be looking to impress in his first race here in his brand new team, brand new livery as well, so yeah, look out for Jordan McDonnell and Fulton Penny, both New Zealanders, looking to make a splash. Mitch McLeod, meanwhile, in 7th place, 57.8. Looks like he's actually putting down some practice times. as we hear Jay Kennedy, our director and Mitchell's teammate, laughing in the background.
Yeah, it's not really a common occurrence to see these guys practicing, to be honest, but yeah.
Yes, indeed. Well, Mitch setting some really good times. Actually, it's quite interesting to see that the top 8, of course, we don't have many cars in the server at the moment, but they are the top 8. Sorry, they're all covered by just under 9/10 of a second, which pretty good to see. Actually, pretty good to see that the times are relatively close on a track that's as long as Suzuka.
Yeah, it definitely is. As Mitch McLeod just goes to second with a 57.049, very
Good time.
close to Riley Blythe. But yeah, it's quite good that these guys are actually quite close at the moment. It's going to be interesting to see what happens come race time with obviously all these most of these corners being somewhat downforce dependent with the aero wash. So these guys are going to have to manage it the way that they approach the corners and also manage that aero wash.
Yeah, certainly, and I found from driving around Suzuka myself that in a car for which you can adjust the downforce quite a bit, it pays to have quite a bit of front downforce because, as you said, quite a bit of aero wash through these long sweeping corners, and you got to keep that load on the front tires, but also just to guard against tire wear in the latter stages of the race, depending on the kind of car that you're driving and how you have it set up. You sort of want the car to stay relatively neutral as the stint goes on, because understeer around a track like this is not your friend at all.
No, it's not at all. It's the last thing you want at the end of a race when you're trying to battle for a position. So yeah, they're definitely going to have to take into account that the car may handle well at the start, but if it doesn't at the end, you may be out of luck.
AJ Bear currently on screen at the moment. AJ not had the best luck in this series so far. He's been involved in incidents in most rounds at the championship so far, but he is a very quick guy as AJ, and on his day he can really mix it up there with the top guys. We see him just coming out of the S's now through Dunlop Curve, sticking to the left-hand side of the circuit for the entry into Degner 1. Big curb on the inside of that corner can really unsettle your car, and then of course you're going straight into braking for that right-hander there, so definitely one of the most challenging corners on the circuit, and you don't want to go side by side through there.
No, you don't. You want to more or less give room to each other and not force the issue. Is usually if someone hits that right-hand curb, it's usually going to end in tears if there's two of you. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these guys work these corners, like I said earlier, and not take too many risks.
Yeah, certainly. As we see him go through Spoon now, you see that it looks like a very wide open sort of circuit, Suzuka, but the actual optimal lines and where there's the most grip on the racing surface, there's not really a lot of margin for error, and especially through 130R here, just turning in just after the 50-meter marker, making sure not to cut the curb too much. Get caught on the outside there, you can just hitch the AstroTurf and turn your car around. Of course, those curbs in the Casio Triangle can put paid to whatever lap you're on at the present time. But AJ Bear coming across the line, a 57.957, so not an improvement on his PB at the moment, but nonetheless, it's still a lap time on the board, and that's what counts.
Yeah, definitely. AJ's definitely got some pace. He definitely proved that at Imola, even though he was caught up in a couple of incidents earlier in the race. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how well he does now. If he can stay out of trouble, he should definitely be a race win contender, possibly.
Meanwhile, on screen at the moment, car number 069 for Joseph Falcamata coming through the Degner turns. Falcamata's been another one of those guys that's been roughly there or thereabouts. That striking-looking KRF Motorsports livery, he pulls over to the side of the track and escapes back to the garage. Obviously not happy with that lap so far. Let's go to Mark Dean coming through Degner as we speak. I love the Degner turns. They got that slight amount of camber on them, so they're a little faster than they look. But as with most turns on this circuit, a very narrow line coming through the hairpin, and very wide exit, this hairpin. It's definitely good for a run up the inside if you can get the power down.
Yeah, definitely. It's quite an interesting corner there. You can late apex it if you want to, or take a standard hairpin line. But yeah, you kind of have to think about what the corner is. Well, what's after the corner, more or less. As usually, what you want to be having is a good of an exit as possible for the likes of most of these corners. But also, you want to make sure that you get through them as quick as possible as well, so that if there is the possibility of a draft, you can actually latch onto it.
Yeah, certainly. That's an interesting point you raised there, Cam, about this track. It's very much a circuit that you have to drive one corner ahead of yourself. You're always setting yourself up for the next corner in the sequence, especially in Sector 1 through the S's. Mark Dean out the final turn at Suzuka, crossing the line, and that's going to be a 58.317, so again, not an improvement on his best time, but still, it's pretty close.
Yeah, it definitely is, especially for the likes of what the weather is at the moment, which is quite hot, with it being partially cloudy with 24 degrees of air temp, 41 degrees of track temp, and 60% of relative humidity with 17 km/h northeast winds. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what this track will actually do as the session progresses.
Certainly will. At the moment on screen, Ryan O'Sullivan crossing the line to post a 2:18, so he'll be looking to improve to a time that's closer to the front of the field. Of course, Ryan O'Sullivan, another driver from Evolution Racing Team. They got a multi-pronged attack on this series, have ERT. Of course, they got Bo Albert in this field as well. Bo just coming off victory in the Porsche Carrera Cup Australia Championship, which unfortunately I couldn't be there for, but still hearing the news that he had broken Josh Muggleton's victory streak, that must be that must put some confidence in you.
Yeah, definitely. To beat the likes of someone like Josh Muggleton, who has been very, very dominant and quick in the Porsche recently, is quite the confidence booster, as it's not easy to beat guys like that, especially when you're when you're not quite at that level yet. But yeah, so I'd say he's definitely going to have quite a bit of confidence coming into this round, knowing he's definitely got some talent and pace inside of him.
Just coming through Spoon now, and then it's time for the all-important exit onto the back straight. Not using very much of the exit curb, which is a reasonable route to take in a car like this. Very stiff, very downforce dependent, doesn't like the bumps too much. Nice line through 130R. Seems a little delayed getting onto the throttle out of the chicane, but nonetheless, let's see how he goes as he crosses the line here. 58.7, big improvement. That puts him up to 12th position, so he'll be reasonably happy with that.
Yeah, definitely will.
Jay Bear once again coming out of the S's. Now in Sector 2. A little bit wide through Degna 1. Noticing that there's a little bit of dust kicked up on the exit of the Degna turns. The session is worn on. So 1 minute left to qualifying now, as we saw AJ taking a bit of a wide line through 100R. Spoon. And that last left-hander in Spoon, it's the bane of many a driver's existence, Cam, because it's a little bit off camber, and it's got a bit of a deceiving entry, so you've really got to turn the car in nice and gently for it.
Yeah, it definitely is quite a deceiving corner indeed, with it being quite an open entry, and then all of a sudden it tightens up about mid and exit. So yeah, you don't want to jump on the throttle too early, or you can run wide and into the dirt, and if you're unlucky enough, send yourself into the wall. So yeah, you definitely have to be careful about it, but you also want to, again, think about what's ahead of you, which is a long straight heading into 130R. So yeah, it's all about using your head at with most of these corners at this track. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of racecraft we see tonight, as the session's just ended for practice, about to take over to qualifying as well.
Yes, indeed. We're getting ready to go here at Suzuka for the event proper. Session will just tick over now. So we got a 15-minute qualifying session here at Suzuka. Open qualifying, of course, and looks like should be maximum, I'd say, 7 hot laps that that the drivers will have to themselves tonight. So there's not as many opportunities to get it right as there have been at other tracks we've been to this season.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a very short amount of attempts, more or less, to try and get a lap in here, with it being such a long out lap and a long flying lap. So yeah, these guys are definitely going to want to probably stay out there for the entire session and try and bank a lap in.
Yeah, certainly. We've seen the general pattern form in this series and qualifying that drivers like to stay out for one long run in qualifying, because the tyres on this Formula Renault do get better as they progress, and it's not really a car that you can really do one-shot hot lap qualifying runs in at the present time. Riley Blythe currently leading the way there. They come through 100R. Riley's definitely shown a good amount of pace here. He's been there or thereabouts, but yeah, it's been interesting to see him on top. But of course, Mitch McLeod hasn't exactly made it easy for him. Only 5 thousandths behind at the end of practice.
Yeah, Riley's definitely got some speed in him. Obviously, we've seen that in V8 Scops and other series as well. But yeah, he's so far been the quickest, obviously, in practice by 4 thousandths, sorry. So, or 5 thousandths. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes for qualifying here, whether Mitch can put it on pole, whether Riley can put it on pole. So yeah.
Alright, well, Riley Blythe in car number 67 has started his qualifying lap, and he will dart into turn 1 at Suzuka, flat out to the apex. Ooh, letting the rear go a little bit on the entry into turn 2. And it's the long ride through the S's, just keeping the front end under control, making sure that you don't enter the turns too hard, always thinking about the next corner in front of you. Through Dunlop Curve, that was a very nice line all through that section that Blythe took. Let's see how he does through the Degners. Also a very good line, basically inch perfect. Take too much of the curbs.
Yeah, so far so good by the looks of it.
Braking hard for the hairpin. Early turn in, keep it hugged to the inside. A little bit of a twitch on exit. I think he unwound the steering a little too early.
Yeah, possibly slightly too much throttle when he was turning, so probably not going to cost him a whole lot of time, but definitely probably a mistake he'll want to get rid of before his next lap.
Certainly. Will he exit Spoon nice and cleanly? Hard to tell from the exterior of the car how good the line is through Spoon, but we'll wait and see until he puts a time on the board. Flat through 130R.
Very smooth.
Nice and late on the brakes into the Casio triangle. 6 all the way to the right to shorten the length to the start-finish line, and the time on the board is going to be a 1 minute 56.698. So he's really pulled out the stops there.
Yeah, definitely to go 4 tenths quicker than what he did in practice. That's very, very quick indeed.
Well, let's see what Mitch McLeod can do as he's come out of the Casio Triangle, I believe starting a hot lap? I'm not sure. Starting or ending. We'll see. Looks like he is indeed starting a hot lap, so wait and see what he can do as Jordan McDonnell has gone to second on a 57.971.
A little bit slower than what he did in practice, but so far fairly decent time nevertheless.
Newton goes to second meanwhile on a 56.7. Oh, Mitch.
Lost it. Oh, it's held on to it actually.
Yeah, but then he got collected by Cameron Freeman. A little bit of a touch. I don't think either of them would have been too happy with that. And then they exit the pits together. So let's have a look at Fulton Penny. Former teammate of Jordan McDonnell at Precision iRacing team, and now teammate of Jordan McDonnell and many others at Performance Motorsports. Just a little bit of a slide off throttle there through Degner 1. That was a little concerning. See how he goes in the second half of this lap.
A little bit of a lock up into the hairpin there. Otherwise, smooth
Nice
exit.
and smooth. Great minds think alike.
Indeed.
Through Spoon is Fulton Penny. Currently only 3 drivers have set times on the board. Blythe, Newton and McDonnell. Of course, seems that a few people are having problems with getting a lap together around Suzuka. And I think we all know from experience around this track, it's incredibly difficult to string a lap together around here. So much you got to get right, so much you got to get absolutely inch perfect. We even have a stand a chance at setting a competitive time, but Fulton Penny exits the chicane, sticking to the right once again. See what kind of time he can put on the board. 58.249, and that puts him in 4th place, just ahead of Kurt Stenberg, who's also posted his first time of a 58.41.
Yeah, so decent time there by the looks of it. Probably could have been a little bit quicker, but otherwise fairly decent nevertheless.
Mark Dean, 58.5. Like AJ Bear has just crossed the line to start his first hot lap. Nice and smooth through turn 1 and 2. Definitely looked a little more controlled than Blythe did.
Yeah, definitely did. He looked a lot more stable and comfortable there.
Taking a bit of a narrower entry into Dunlop. I wonder if that's going to hurt him. It is going to hurt him. Oh, it's hard to tell if that was an off track or not.
It'll be marginal as to whether it was. It's a curb.
Yep. That's Degner 1 for you, especially in a single-seater. It's one of those curbs that you want to stay the hell away from, otherwise it will absolutely ruin you.
Yep, definitely. You can hit it, but you really have to be precise with how you hit it and not... Well, make sure you don't unbalance the car too much.
Yeah, certainly. Meanwhile, Bo Albert coming into turn 1. Just managing to keep the rear end under control into turn 1. Looks like he suffered a little bit of understeer in turn 2. See how he goes through the S's. Looks like he's definitely got the front end working well for him. He even sort of cut across the curb there a couple of times in those last few corners.
Yeah, not too bad of a line. Possibly lacking that, well, suffering from a little bit of understeer there with the way he was working his steering wheel there earlier in the, well, at the end of the S's. So yeah, be interested to see how this lap goes for him.
Yeah, certainly will. He's coming up to the hairpin now, and this should be a piece of cake. Runs a little bit wide, but you can do that in the hairpin. Yeah. Big wheel work there from Bo Albert. Of course, the hairpin, you know, even something as simple as a hairpin can be quite daunting at Suzuka. Booney goes.
Oh, a bit of a slide there.
Yeah, he's got that that's either a good thing or a bad thing that he's got the rear end nice and loose. Of course, it can come back to bite you. So you do need to be careful through these long corners. But 130R, of course, as I mentioned, easy flatten these cars. Just a slight turn of the wheel, stay a little bit to the left, and Scott Newton, we're hearing, to pole. So
With a 56.5, that's it's 10th quicker than Blythe, so very good time there.
Yeah, excellent time. Well, Bo Albert's crossed the line to do a 57.691. That's only 3 thousandths slower than Blythe. Incredibly close up the front at the moment.
Yeah, indeed. It's a second, actually. 57 versus a 56. But anyway, yeah, it's very close at the moment.
Of course. Yeah. Didn't sleep well last night. Robin Northway on screen at the moment, just coming up to the hairpin. Nice smooth exit there. Robert Northway didn't set a competitive time in practice, but of course practice is not the be-all, end-all of who is the best. Oh, oversteer on the exit of spoon.
Held on to that very well.
Yeah, certainly did. Just a bit of a fishtail. Almost got into a tank slapper, but he did well to recover. Well, that's going to be his run down the straight, completely done. He'll have to gear up for the next lap. Looks like he really worked the wheel hard there into 130R.
Not long left in the session either for these guys, with it only being about 4 minutes or so.
Yeah, wow, it's flown by. So 59.6 there from Robert Northway, but considering what we saw happen at the exit of Spoon, I think you might have at least another half a second in there as we now look at Ryan O'Sullivan. Only on a flyer at the moment. Another one of the drivers that has yet to set a time that is reflective. Oh, wasn't quite as confident in the car there. He had to have a couple of goes at taking the corner. Might have had a little bit of rear end lockup into Spoon. Managed to get through cleanly. Easy through 130R. Looks like ERT is running a very aggressive setup on these cars. We've seen the drivers almost on the edge of control. Ryan O'Sullivan does not set a lap time. He must have gotten an off track somewhere there.
Yeah, must have been early in the lap, because I don't recall seeing him go too far off track at the end of the lap there.
Meanwhile, Scott Newton, your provisional pole man. Oh, big moment there through Degner. Goodness me. Everybody's right on the edge in this session. While AJ Bear goes to fourth, 57.461. Hearing from the director that Mitch McLeod is not going to set a time for qualifying. Giving himself a bit of a challenge, apparently.
Wouldn't be a bad idea, but again, interesting concept.
Yes, certainly. Hearing the quote from Mitch is he had to choose between a smoke or another lap, so he decided to go for a smoke. That's the Mitch McLeod we know and love.
Indeed.
Oh, man. Well, looks like Kurt Stenberg is currently on a flyer, looking to improve on his 8th place at the moment. Then he comes through 130R. Sorry, Degner. Getting my corners mixed up now. Very nice, clean lines. While Ryan O'Sullivan goes to 10th, at 58.3 is the time set. We're in the dying seconds of this session. We've only got 10 seconds left on the clock, so this will be Stenberg's final lap.
Will be Bo Albert's final lap as well.
Stenberg exits 130R. Bo Albert currently at the beginning of his lap. So the checkered flag is now out, and Kurt Stenberg is going to negotiate the final chicane, and we'll see where this puts him. Nice smooth end of the lap. Going to be a 57.9, so that's going to put him up to 6th place.
Fulton Penny just behind, does not go quicker, he does a 59.0.
While Scott Newton now coming to the end of his final lap, see if he can improve on his pole time, get a little bit more of a margin over Riley Blythe. Up he goes straight for the pits.
Possibly got an off track through the chicane there. It's very
Mark
wide
D.
from Mark.
There we go, we'll see where that puts him. Not an improvement. So now it's Bo Albert that we're looking at. Comes through 130R. Having a look at Cameron Freeman, I'm wondering if that's a lap from him. Yep, it's a 58.794 from Cameron Freeman. He goes to 11th. Ooh, Albert just didn't hook it up through the chicane.
Locked up on entry as well.
7.538 though, yeah. No position change, but he did improve. There we go. That is the starting grid for round 3 of the New Zealand and Australian Racing Formula Renault 2.0 Championship. Scott Newton is your poleman, with Riley Blythe in 2nd, Jordan McDonald 3rd, AJ Bear and Bo Albert rounding out the top 5, Kurt Stenberg in 6th, Mark Dean 7th, 8th, Joseph Falcamata, 9th, Fulton Penny, and rounding out the top 10, ERT's Ryan O'Sullivan.
Then we go back to 11th will be Cameron Freeman, 12th will be Robert Northway, 13th will be Mitchell McLeod, 14th will be Benny Gill, and 16th will be Griffin Gardner.
So a small field tonight at Suzuka, but considering how close the top times were, we should see some interesting battle packs forming.
Yeah, we definitely will. It'll be very interesting to see how these guys work the traffic and manage the aero wash.
Certainly will. Well, drivers filing onto the grid as we've entered the final 50 seconds of gridding time. Up and we'll be ready to go racing for 45 minutes here at Suzuka. Question is, it's really all about the start here, because it's a bit of a long run into the first corner. So if one of these drivers at the front gets a bad start, it's really not going to work out well for them into turn 1.
Yeah, definitely. They're very well going to get swamped, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens and how far they go back.
Yeah, of course. Well, Scott Newton and everyone on the left-hand side of the grid is on the racing line, so they should have a bit more of an advantage as the revs rise. The lights have gone up, getting ready to go green. Round 3 of the Formula Renault 2.0 Championship is go. Have a look at the start that Blythe has gotten. He's got a tiny bit of a run there on Newton.
Yeah, that's a great start. He's going to go up the inside here. McDonnell's going to follow him through, and it's going to be... Blythe managed to get through. And McDonnell almost gets Newton as well.
Yeah, well, Newton, I think, didn't have much of a choice but to go wide. Course offline, not very much grip. They go streaming through the S's, and it looks like a very clean start from everyone. Oh no, as I speak, big crash back in the field. Yeah, Northway, Gardner, and Freeman all involved in that. Goodness me, not very good at all. Got a replay of that on screen. We'll have a look at what happened there.
Looks like Gardner just had some understeer clipped Freeman's right rear, and then that was it pretty much.
That's a real shame. O'Reilly Blythe has gone wide in the hairpin. This is going to let Scott Newton back through. Almost. Oh, just wasn't quite able to get the jump. Back live, though. The battle up the front is definitely on.
Yeah, it definitely is at the moment. McDonnell and Albert not too far behind. Possibly could come into contention here if they can work together.
Looks like Newton's got a bit of a run here out of Spoon. He's in the slipstream of Riley Blythe. Is he going to go up the inside at 130R? He is. Oh, this is dangerous.
Move for lap 1. Oh, now Albert's going to go for a move up the inside of McDonnell here. Newton's got it
risky.
done.
Oh, McDonnell goes
McDonnell's
off track.
wide.
Here we go. He's going to try and come up the inside again at the chicane.
He's managed to do it. Oh, that's close.
No.
It's still side by side.
Goodness me. Oh, Albert. Just a little bit of a slide. But McDonnell has got the run here. Albert's going to stick to the inside. He's not going to let McDonnell through on the inside at all. So now
Newton
McDonnell is on
the
outside for turn 1. Oh, no. Oh, it's so...
Oh, side by side still. McDonnell just holding it around the outside, but not quite.
Wow, that's quite interesting for the start of lap 2. Of course, I think we'll be seeing that move a few more times during the race. There's an awful lot of nice long straights to get lovely up and close to the rear end of your opponent's car.
Yeah, definitely.
Looks like the top 2 have broken away. Newton and Blythe still locked together. I don't think we'll be seeing these guys separated by much at all. Hearing a good battle starting. Oh yeah, 4-car train between Dean Penny, O'Sullivan and McLeod. Bit of a train forming coming out of the hairpin. Interesting to see what Mitch can do, but Blythe is catching Newton. Question is the Exeter Spoon. Looks like Newton just ran a little bit wide. It's all about that just apexing too early. It allows your opponent to get a little bit of a run on you, but Newton is going to... Oh, hello. Looks like Blythe is going to stick behind Newton. Jordan, meanwhile, like he might. Goodness, Penny and Dean going side by side. Have a look at this.
Up inside as well.
Yep. So O'Sullivan has managed to gain a position out of that. Now he's got Fulton Penny in his sights. Have a look at the front though. Blythe and Newton. Looks like yeah. Have a look at Blythe. This is a strategic play from him. He's hanging back.
Yeah, definitely.
AJ Bear has fallen back from McDonnell meanwhile, and Stenberg is now closing up to him. Looks like, though, train of Penny, O'Sullivan, Dean and McLeod is definitely catching up. Sullivan just getting a little bit of a draft in the Degners. Penny goes wide over the AstroTurf. Ooh. Me. Have a look at McLeod, though.
Oh, making a move.
Yeah, trying to make a move up the outside of Dean, and Dean sees him coming. Move done. So much frantic clicking going on. We've got quite a few battles going on through this field at the moment. Oh, Fulton Penny through Spoon. He just caught the grass.
There's O'Sullivan.
Oh, no.
Absolute
The tank slapper to end all tank slappers. That is so unfortunate. We've got a replay up on screen of that. What a shame. Like Fulton Penny just catching the grass on the entry to Spoon, sliding through, overcorrects, and O'Sullivan really had nowhere to go and no time to react.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate.
Doesn't look to have come away with as much damage as Penny did, though. He's still going. So Sullivan goes to the pits. We are back to the front of the field where the battle between Newton and Blythe is still going on very strong. Tell you what, this is definitely, from Riley Blythe's perspective, one that he's very much set up for the long game here. I think he's setting up for a move in the final laps, but for now he's gonna stay in the draft of Newton, who is at least the same pace as him, if not a little faster, and then when the time is right, he can try and spring a move and hopefully get away with it.
Yeah, definitely. You'll definitely have to think about it. Oh, here we go.
Nah, Newton has been able to get on the throttle just a little bit quicker. There we go. Traction wins. Nice, just doing the old lift and coast job. Boone once again for the 4th time. Well, it's tempting to try and move, but he's just staying behind.
Yeah, possibly working together. I think he might have actually been bump drafting him there.
Yeah, jeez.
But yeah, I think they're working together more or less at the moment, just to try and pull away from the field at the moment. So not too bad of a strategy there, but it'll be interesting to see what happens come the later part of the race.
Yeah, certainly will be, but we'll I think it's safe to say that we won't be seeing any crazy moves from these guys for at least the next few laps. Top 2 stay as they are once again. Well, it looks like Mitch McLeod reeling in Kurt Stenberg. Then his last lap was a 58.6. Cloud's last was a 58 flat or thereabouts, so look for these two guys to get close. Another close battle developing I'm seeing is Dean and Falcamata. Like last lap was nearly a full second slower than Falcamata's, so cap for those two guys as well.
Yeah, I'd say Joseph is probably going to get by at some point with that sort of pace that he has.
Yep, but Cloud and Stenberg really closed up once again. Oh, Stenny. Big oversteer
he's
moment.
out onto it.
Oh, wow. So that has let McLeod right through. One of those lazy death spins, you know, as a driver, you always hate it when that happens. You can just feel the car going, and all you can do is just saw away at the wheel. Meanwhile, fight for the lead. Still going on. Looks like Blythe is starting to go side by side with Newton in a few places.
Yeah, maybe Riley just seeing where Scott's slow and where he's quicker, so yeah, he's probably just sitting behind patiently, waiting for where he can make his move. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether he's going to make it earlier or whether he does do it near the end.
Well, Falcamata versus Dean on screen at the moment. Bo Albert spun.
Oh, that's a big hit.
Yeah, big damage. That is really unfortunate. What happened to him there?
It just got loose and that was it.
Yep. Oh, the woes of a 40-degree track.
Yeah, just too much throttle by the looks of it and just sent himself in the wall.
Damage the front end of the car, just completely gone. While back to the front, Newton and Blythe.
Takamata's actually just got past Mark Dean there in the, just before.
As indeed, so now it'll be Dean's turn to stay in the draft. Maybe have a go at passing him back at some point. Down into last chicane, go Newton and Blythe. Exactly the same lap times.
With the way this lead pack is going, I'd say it's definitely going to be a game of don't lead on the last lap.
Yeah, that's going to be it. Well, meanwhile, it looks like the battle for third is going to heat up once again. It's the AJ Bear just closing up to Jordan McDonnell.
About 3/10 quicker that last lap AJ was, by the looks of it.
Yeah, just and meanwhile, Mitch McLeod's catching them as well, so this could turn into a 3-car battle. Mitch 1 second faster than Jordan on the last lap, so now that's some major gains.
Yeah, definitely. It also looks like AJ's just got some minor front wing damage at the moment. Doesn't seem to be affecting him too much though.
And well, pretty much equidistant from each other as they come down the back straight to 130R. While Benny Giel, having spun at the hairpin, he's managed to get going again. Got a replay of that incident Benny Giel was involved in. It looked like another case of just a little too much throttle on the exit, and around he went.
Yeah, and that's just slightly unfortunate. These guys probably just need to back it off a little bit compared to what they're doing at the moment with the hotter track.
On screen, a last lap comparison between Jordan, AJ, and Mitch. So McDonnell a 58.4, Bear a 58.7, Cloud a 57.68. So it's quite obvious who's the quickest in this little pack. So it will be interesting to see how this turns out in the next few laps.
Yeah, it definitely will. It's bound to close up fairly close and could possibly have a 3-car battle for the final spot on the podium.
Yeah, McDonnell having a little bit of trouble with his car. Looked a bit scrappy through Degner. Oversteering over the curbs, soaring away at the wheel. Well, Up the front, it's looking to be more of the same from Riley Blythe, just getting to a certain distance from Scott Newton and just lifting off the throttle. Just staying behind in the braking zone and overshooting his braking zone slightly. Guys still lapping very consistently. Obviously not as fast as McLeod, but still looking pretty consistent from these guys. It's been mid-57s since lap 2.
Yeah, definitely looks like AJ's closed the gap there by the looks of it in that last lap, so if Jordan's not careful, he may actually have to start defending.
Yeah, definitely looks like it. Half a second gain from AJ on that last lap, so
Matt's with damage.
AJ and Mitch doing the exact same lap times as well, so this is looking very interesting. And looking at Bear and McDonald's cars, you can see the body language of their driving. They're incredibly different. Seeing McDonald's just letting the car slide a little bit. He just lets the car sort of move around under him slightly. Meanwhile, looks like AJ really likes to keep a vice-like grip on the way his car handles, as we see McLeod really gained on Bear there in that section of the lap.
Yeah, got a very good exit by the looks of it.
Well, when they get to the straight, oh, Bear.
Oh, AJ's run a bit wide there, and that's allowed McLeod through.
Oh, is he going to spin it?
Oh,
into the gravel trap. Real shame, but he's managed to get it going once again.
Steenberg goes past as well. So does Falcomato. Mark Dean might actually get him as well.
Wow, that's ruined AJ Bear's night pretty much. A lot of time and a few positions. Like Dean hasn't been able to quite get by him. We've got the front two on screen again. Eight hundredths of a second between them at the line.
That is very close.
Well, AJ and Dean, looks like Mark Dean's pulled out of the draft and he's going to try and go around the outside at turn 1. Bear's going to hold it on the inside though. Dean is going to back out of that. So with AJ Bear having that incident that he had on the last lap, it's a 58.0 from Jordan McDonnell and a 57.596 from Mitch McLeod. So hopefully this manages to. Oh, as Mitch just locks up coming into the hairpin. I was going to say hopefully we can actually get a battle out of this without someone going off the track, because that seems to have been the story of this race: a battle forming and then someone makes a mistake.
Yeah, it's quite interesting how that's happened. I'm not sure whether it's just people making mistakes or whether they're getting caught out by the aero wash or what, but yeah, it's quite interesting that's been happening actually.
Loud, really closing up to McDonnell now. Hearing that Mitch is the fastest car on track now as well. Well, I somehow doubt that. As we say that, fastest lap of the race from Scott Newton, 57.2. Who's that coming out of the pits? That's Bo Albert. Managed to get his car repaired and he's gone back out.
You get some valuable championship points by the looks of it.
Well, looks like Newton's pulled a tiny bit of a gap over Riley Blythe.
Yeah, possibly that aero wash, possibly having made Riley's front tyres work possibly too much, or a bit of a work there for Scott over the curb. But anyway, yeah, I'd say probably that aero wash has cooked Riley's tyres a bit too much for the moment, and he's just having to back out of it a little bit.
Meanwhile, Mark Dean has gone past AJ Bear on lap 10 after AJ had a little whoopsie moment coming out of the hairpin and just completely lost his run. And Mark Dean back up to 7th. Meanwhile, Riley. I know exactly what he's doing. I know exactly what Riley's doing. It's either psyching Newton out or just lying back and waiting for a good opportunity to make a move in time for the race end. Because if he passes Newton now, Newton's just going to get him back, so you might as well just stay behind.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely very much using his head in this one. Or Newton with a bit of a wide exit there. Riley's all over him now. Is he possibly going to make a move here?
No, he won't.
Probably not. But yeah,
I
it's
guarantee
definitely...
he won't make a move until the last lap.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, you can pass them all. That was very close. But yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, Riley could theoretically pass him and then to some extent use racecraft to kind of hold them both up and actually form a bit bigger of a battle. So yeah, it's a bit of a interesting little game what's going on here. A bit of a game of 200-mile-an-hour chess. Well, 200-kilometer-an-hour chess, sorry. We're not going that quick.
200-mile-an-hour chess in a Formula Renault. Well, that'd really be something, wouldn't it? We have to be running it in for that. As Newton goes wide over the AstroTurf, and they come up to the hairpin for the 12th time. Oh, that was nearly a bumper-to-bumper moment.
Or wing to wing.
Yeah, unfortunately these aren't touring cars, so can't exactly do the old bump and run lest you get chopped yourself. Look at the run that Blythe gets through 100R up to Spoon.
Yeah, it's very good actually. Oh, a little bit of a oversteer there for Riley.
Another big run. All of this is just testing. Testing how much of a run he can get, how far back he needs to be. While Mitch McLeod side by side with Jordan McDonald.
That's risky.
Yeah, very risky, but it looks like Mitch is going to get through into the chicane.
Straight past. Move
Yep,
done.
straight past.
Oh,
Fantastic
but
stuff.
McDonald's going to come back.
Falcamada and Stenberg, meanwhile, just behind them. This is a battle that's really going to get interesting down at the front straight.
McDonald's going to go to the inside here to go past McLeod. He's managed to get it done.
Great repassing manoeuvre there. While Falcamada is caught right up to the back of Stenberg. Now he'll have to stay behind through the S's. Wait for the exit of the hairpin to try and possibly make a move. While McDonald-McLeod battle. This is really heating up. This is the battle. This is one of the battles I think we've been waiting for all race. Fantastic stuff. A hard-charging Mitch McLeod coming through the field. McDonald trying his best to defend third. Have a look at this run that Mitch is going to get as they go through 100R past the motorcycle chicane.
Mitch has definitely got better pace at the moment, so he doesn't need to take too many risks.
Oh, having said that, just bashes the curb on the exit of Spoon. Fortunately, no visual damage. Mitch hanging back through 130R, think he might be wanting to try for a move on the front straight. If not, he'll probably do a Riley Blythe and just sit behind.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Riley might actually be saving fuel at the moment, according to Bo. So that's quite an interesting little point.
Yeah, well, that's one thing that I was actually thinking about at the start of the race. Maybe Blythe decided to go light on fuel and take advantage of the draft of Newton so that he didn't have to use as much.
Yeah, possibly. As you'll definitely be saving a bit, just having a lift off and stay behind Scott.
On board with Riley Blythe as he chases down Scott Newton. Be able to see exactly what it's like from the cockpit of one of these Formula Renaults following another car around Suzuka. There he goes for the run, but then about half a car length back, he just lifts off. Not much of an aero push effect through 130R. Well, looks like Kurt Stenberger's crashed.
Oh, that's quite a hit.
Oh yeah, it is. Front end of that car is completely gone. Let's have a look at what happened to him.
Oh, tank slapper for Steenie was what it was. Just got on the curb.
Meanwhile, Mitch Cloud just passed Jordan McDonnell once again.
Jordan actually just got it wrong in the braking zone of the chicane there and had to run off.
Got a replay of that up now, just to show you how the move was done. Yeah, just massive overshooting of the chicane from Jordan, and would have gotten a slowdown for that. That would have let Mitch through.
Yeah.
Well, back up to the front, Riley Blythe bringing back a little bit more this time around. Oh, Cloud has made a mistake and let McDonnell back through.
Oh,
Looks
it's
like
just run wide by the looks of it.
yeah. Yeah, just caught a little bit too much of the curb on the exit of Degner 1, and that completely messed up his Degner 2, so there you go. Challenge is now to repass him once again. Alright, so back live. Have about we'll have 15 minutes to go in this race very soon. Guessing 8 more laps from this. What the predictometer says, according to Mr. Kennedy. I'm actually quite impressed with how close Riley's able to stay to Newton through the S's. I would have thought that he would lose much more time in that section of the track for sure, but Looks like he's been able to keep the gap relatively consistent.
Yeah, he has actually. It's been quite interesting to see how well he's managed to get through the S's and stay that close to Scott. He has fallen back a couple of times in a few laps, but otherwise he's been pretty well on the rear end of Scott.
Benny Giel exiting back to pits, race completely done. That was a big incident and spoon
Oh,
for him, it's looking like.
He somewhat did the same as what Stenny did, actually.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, that was a huge smash, head onto the wall. Had to do a bit of a 3-point turn to try and get going again, but I think then once he got the car going straight, thought better of it. Meanwhile, looking like Mitch has managed to gain 5 seconds on Jordan, and Jordan spinning.
Jordan spun in the hairpin.
Spin. Damage to the rear wing, so yeah, that makes sense. So we'll have a look at what caused that damage.
Looks like he just did a flick spin and hit the rear end on the wall when he did it at the hairpin.
Yeah. Oh, that is a real shame. So not only would that have wrecked his rear wing, it would also have wrecked his rear suspension as well. Look at him, he's crabbing something fierce. What a shame.
Yeah, definitely. He was on for a very good spot there just before that happened.
Well, McDonald is going to go into the pits. Very unfortunate end to that. Of course, not implying that that is the end of his race, because he can still keep going and still get a few points. Well, with all of that, it looks like Newton and Blythe is the closest battle on track at the moment.
Yeah, looking like it, and it's been very close all race long, so it's probably bound to get very, very close in these last few laps.
Tell you what, another battle to watch out for very soon would have to be AJ Bear versus Mark Dean. AJ's just made a mistake coming out of the S's and ran a very strange line into Degner. So these two guys are very close. I'm looking for Dean to probably make a move into the hairpin. Yeah, Bear's just not sure what's wrong with Bear at the moment. He seems to be defending, but seems to be lacking a bit of straight line speed.
Yeah, looks like he's got a little bit of front wing damage, but it shouldn't be affecting him too bad.
We'll have a look at the run that Dean is getting. Well, another fastest lap of the race from Scott Newton. He's into the 56s. That was Blythe. Fantastic stuff from those guys. Meanwhile, Dean round the outside of Bear coming into 130R. And that was fairly simple, I think.
Yeah.
Jordan McDonald, meanwhile, looks like he's called it a day.
Yeah, that's real unfortunate what happened.
Leaders out on screen once again. Oh no! Blythe around. Oh no. Well, I think that's basically basically race done.
Yeah, I'd say that Scott's pretty much got this one in the bag now. He's pretty much been handed the victory on a silver platter, unfortunately.
What happened to Blythe there? Oh, he just got on the throttle too hard.
Yeah, that whole getting on it too early thing, that's been a talking point in this race, apparently.
Yeah, it's quite bizarre to see so many drivers caught out by the same kind of mistake. Way looks like Newton doesn't have any pressure from behind, so he can just lap to his heart's content. I'll have to wait and see, though, to see what kind of time Blythe can do in completely clear air. See if he has any chance of catching back up to Newton. See how that is at the end of this lap. We've only got a few laps to go. We'll be 5 or 6, not quite sure yet. Like Kurt Stenberg is still circulating, minus a nose cone. Well, in all of the time that we've been broadcasting this race, we haven't actually taken the time to show you what a proper lap around Suzuka looks like. So, once Scott Newton comes around the start-finish line to start his 20th lap, we'll go for a little bit of an onboard. That sounds like a good idea. Doesn't look like Blythe is catching too much, so I don't know if it's just me, but I think Blythe might have a bit of front wing damage as well, so either way, Newton is coming out of the final chicane. We're going to go silent and show you an onboard lap of Suzuka International Racing Course from Newton's point of view. And Scott Newton crosses the line for a 157.363 on his own and lonesome around Suzuka. Riley Blythe goes into the pits.
That
Looks
would
like he
probably
might
be
have
for
well and
fuel, I'd
truly,
say.
yeah, run out of fuel. Well, that's a real shame for him. I suppose if he hadn't spun, we might be looking at him possibly not pitting. But fortunately, that's the way the proverbial cookie crumbles. Meanwhile, while we were on that onboard with Newton, McLeod made a bit of a mistake and allowed Falcomata to gain on him slightly. So, who knows? We might see a battle form for third position, or now second position, once again. Down to 2.2 seconds. A bizarre lap time from McLeod, 2 minute and 6 thousandths. So he must have made another mistake on that lap.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it was. I think it was earlier in the lap, but yeah, just minor mistakes, possibly from not being used to the tyres dropping off so much. But yeah,
Well, meanwhile, Riley Blythe has exited the pits and he's come out right in front of the Dean Bear battle. So hopefully we see a 3-car train once again.
yeah. Hopefully, it's looking like it's going to be quite a good battle here.
Board with Mark Dean currently in a sandwich with the 2 slices of bread are AJ Bear and Riley Blythe. Like stayed relatively calm between these guys, but as Blythe finds his feet, might just pull away from these two.
He probably has the decency rule with obviously much more fuel in the car now, and also probably a new front wing as well.
The moment, according to the timing, oh no, Newton's gone off at Spoon. Oh, and he spun.
Oh, and he's looped it! Oh, that's possibly a lack of concentration from no pressure.
Well, he's way too far ahead for it to have had any effect on his race, so I think it's a complete non-incident at this stage. It will be last lap next time by, with 2 minutes on the clock, so going to be white flag for Scott Newton. Bit of a shortened race.
Yeah, it was quite a good race, and then obviously it's unfolded to the unfortunate turn of events that it is now. But
AJ Bear's gone
racing.
off.
Oh yeah, he has too, actually.
Down at the Degners. Going very slowly through the gravel trap. I wonder what's happened to him there. He's been going quite slow. He run out of fuel. Yeah,
Oh no!
Oh wow. So that's the second car to run out of fuel here. Looks like he ran out of fuel going through the last bit of the S's, so race over for AJ Bear, unfortunately. Well, Scott Newton has not buckled under pressure at all. In fact, the only time he's buckled is when he was under no pressure at all, just a lap ago. So Riley Blythe, meanwhile, sets the fastest lap of the race at 56.86. So it's very much what could have been for him.
Yeah,
He was battling
definitely.
for the lead of this race.
Yeah, definitely a would have, could have, should have sort of scenario at the moment for them. That's really unfortunate.
Well, Newton threw Spoon for the final time, and what can you really say? He's been pretty much faultless for the whole event. Fantastic start from position number 1 with a great pole lap. Has managed to hold the lead for almost the whole race, only losing it once to Riley Blythe at the start. He gained it back and has held it since. So Scott Newton through the chicane He's going to take the win in round 3 of the New Zealand and Australian iRacing Formula Renault 2.0 Championship. Weaving across the line, Scott Newton, your race victor.
Mitchell McLeod not too far behind. He will take second.
Riley spun. Oh dear. So he's lost another spot to Mark Dean. Just caught the
Running
gravel
wide.
and needs a spoon.
Yeah, that curb's caught a lot of these guys out.
Well, Mitch McLeod comes across the line to finish second from 13th place. Fantastic stuff there. Falco Mata from 8th to 3rd. Brilliant stuff. Mark Dean is going to pick up 4th. Riley Blythe finishing off what was an absolutely horror second half of the race with a 5th place finish. And it looks like Stenberg's nose cone has magically regrown, so he's back and running regular pace. Number 47 machine, so he's going to pick up a 6th place finish. Looking like there will only be 6 finishers.
Yeah, by the looks of it, with AJ running out of fuel. Actually, Bo will finish, actually. But, yeah, 6 on the lead lap anyway.
AJ is still sitting there at the exit of Degna 2. Enjoying the view, I presume.
And probably cooling off.
Most likely. Well, Kurt Stenberg is going to cross the line to finish in 6th, and he'll be the last finisher on the lead lap, so there you go. That is round 3 of this championship done and dusted. Results are up on screen. Scott Newton is your race winner, with Mitch McLeod coming home in 2nd, Falco Mata in 3rd, 4th place Mark Dean, Riley Blythe in 5th, Kurt Stenberg in 6th, AJ Bear running out of fuel right at the end, with Bo Albert rounding out your top 8.
Then we go back to from 9th to 15th, all of those who DNF'd, which is Jordan McDonnell, Benny Gill, Ryan O'Sullivan, Fulton Penny, Griffin Gardner, Cameron Freeman, and Robert Northway.
There you go. That is your field for round 3 of the New Zealand and Australian iRacing Formula Renault 2.0 Championship. Well, it had its ups and downs, this race, but hey, when does any race not have a few ups and downs?
Yeah, indeed, a couple of unfortunate turn of events, but at the end of the day, that's racing for a lot of us, I guess.
So, looking forward in the championship to next round, we're going to Circuit Park Zandvoort, which I'm really looking forward to personally. Zandvoort is one of those tracks that always throws up an interesting race. It's undulating nature, very narrow, high curbs, in a bunch of Formula Renaults, it'll certainly be exciting. Hopefully, we have a pretty good race there next week.
Yeah, definitely. It should be another good week of racing. Hopefully more people turn up and finish. But yeah, it should definitely provide some more interesting racing.
Yes, indeed. Well, for interviews, we have our race winner here, Scott Newton. And Scott, congratulations. There was one minor slip-up towards the end, but you managed to hold the lead very convincingly.
Yeah, cheers, Reese. It was definitely a lot of pressure from Riley in the early stages, all the way up until about 5 or 10 to go. Just coming out of the hairpin at 180R, luckily he just looped it around and cost himself 7 seconds, so it was just pretty much cruise from home from their part from that little slip up with about 2 to 3 to go.
Well, the battle between you and Blythe was a very close all race, but it seemed like Blythe was just hanging back for the vast majority of that. Did you ever feel under pressure?
A little bit, but about 5 or 6 laps to go, I saw that he pitted, so I was wondering why he wasn't attacking me like he was at Okayama. So that was probably the reason why he was he underfilled the car. So it was just luckily that I took it more than enough to get me to the end, and it was the mistake of Riley that cost him the win.
Well, after coming away with a win here at Suzuka, we're going to Zandvoort next week. I know that it's one of the more polarizing tracks in iRacing. There are plenty of people that absolutely despise it, and there are some people that love it. What group do you fall into?
Agree that is further away. Further alongside despise, because I dislike that track like with a passion. So, but definitely targeting a podium next week. So we'll just have to wait and see how it goes.
All right then. Well, congratulations, Scott, and suppose we'll see you next week at Zandvoort. Hopefully, you manage to repeat your success as you did here.
No worries, cheers for that, Reese.
Scott Newton, in the box with us there, your race winner. And the next person we're going to talk to is our second place finisher, Mitch McLeod. And Mitch, that was quite the charge from you. You benefited from quite a bit of attrition.
I sure did. I wouldn't call it much of a charge. It was more just staying out of trouble and not ending up in the fence like I tried to do a couple of times.
Well, certainly it seemed that you were getting ready to be involved in a few battles. I know that that you had quite a nice fight with Jordan McDonnell, but yeah, it seemed like every time a battle was brewing, one or two people had a bit of an incident, and it ended up spacing the field back out again. Would you have liked to have been involved in close racing all race?
Oh, for sure. Like when I was sitting behind, I think it was O'Sullivan and I forget who the other one was, Penny. Yeah, I was looking forward to having a bit of a battle there, and then Penny made a mistake and took out Sullivan, so that was 2 spots for me. And same thing happened with McDonnell. We had a couple of position swaps, and it was looking like it was going to heat up, but yeah, unfortunately at the hairpin he made a bit of a got on the gas a bit too soon, touched the fence, and that was that over. So it was quite a dull race from then on.
Well, suppose next round we're going to Zandvoort, which is very much a narrower track than Suzuka. The walls are closer. There's more elevation change. It's much more of a sinewy sort of circuit, and it's got a bit of a stop-start final sector. So I suppose the racing will be a bit better there. Are you looking forward to Zandvoort?
Yeah, it doesn't matter what car you're in. Zandvoort is the bomb. It is awesome. I love it. So yeah, I can't wait for that one. It's going to be mad fun. And I don't really like this track. I don't like Silverstone so much. So yeah, fingers crossed we go a little bit better and I can actually do a lap in qualifying. That might help for start. And yeah, hopefully we can be competitive.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us in the commentary box, Mitch. And here's hoping for another podium in the Netherlands, I suppose.
Hell yeah, I'll be like Max Verstappen. I'll be going like nuts.
Brilliant stuff. Mitch McLeod there for Talk Inc. joining us in the commentary box, our second place finisher. Well, Cam, that brings to a conclusion our night of Formula Renault 2.0 racing, and yeah, I definitely enjoyed most of it. Some really close racing around this wide, smooth Japanese circuit.
Yeah, definitely. It's been quite the race with a lot of battling and also a lot of unfortunate mistakes from a number of people, but otherwise it's been a fairly good night by the looks of it. So yeah, hopefully it continues on. We have even more better racing at Zandvoort.
Certainly. Well, be sure to like V8's Online on Facebook. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Twitter and on Twitch as well. We do multi-streaming. We stream to YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch, so you'll be able to catch us whatever platform is your preference. And we hope that you'll be able to join us tomorrow night for Thursday night IMSA from. Where is IMSA actually? I forget.
Spa. It will be at Spa for 75 minutes, and I may or may not make a cameo appearance.
Wunderbar. I'll certainly be attempting to make a cameo appearance, but with the race I had last week at Lime Rock, I doubt I'll get into the broadcast split. Ha 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 ha. So we'll see how that goes. But either way, make sure to look out for any future broadcasts that V8's Online does, and we'll see you very soon. You've been watching the New Zealand and Australian iRacing Formula Renault 2.0 Championship on V8's Online. We will see you very soon.